So definitely, like we say, every Sunday we coming to y'all with this Q&A. We'll be taking questions a little later, but I'm sure you got some stuff prepared to let them know about. So
definitely. So, I mean, I just want to give it back to the Most High God for putting us on this earth, man, and giving us the knowledge and bringing us through the stormiest weathers to be able to now put forward knowledge towards our community. For those who do not know me as yet, my name is Dean Lawrence. I'm actually one of the co-founders of Real Credit Deal. I go by the name of Dean as well. And today we're going to talk about a much needed conversation. Something that's always it's pretty much on every single individual's credit report at one point or the other. The thing is that when it comes to credit, credit is a topic it's so deep. It's rooted literally in every single thing that we do. All right. Whether we're trying to, change our lifestyles for the better, whether we're looking to create a business like Papa was talking about, being able to open up businesses, it's very hard for us to get into that category, without being able to understand what's going on with our credit. And most of us are looking to just get that one quick fix, not realizing that, hey, listen, it took us, sometimes years to build up on different accounts, when it comes to, messing up our credit. And we're looking to get this all done in a 30-day time frame. Now, don't get me wrong, a lot of individuals have been able to get, great results when it comes to getting their credit work done in such a short time. But if it took us years to mess our credit up, I want us to all have that mindset. It's going to take us some time to put that things back together. But it's everything is right about putting your goals into position and lining it up. Because once you get your credit right, every other door becomes just an open key. All you just got to do is plug and play, because now you've gotten the hard part out of the way. So today I want us to go ahead and talk about collections. See, collections is a topic that have been, literally unforeseen. Not a lot of people are actually going into the details about credit. And to respect everyone's time today, we're going to go into the main sources of what's happening when it comes to collection accounts. So last week, you guys heard me talk about, the 5 pillars of building credit. So now when it comes to collection, we're going to go ahead and talk about how collection affects your credit. What is collection accounts? And I just want to let you guys know as well, collection companies are not government entities as well. They're private individuals, private agencies. So they don't have any main jurisdiction. And in fact, a lot of the times they're doing things illegally outside of the law, meaning calling you outside of work hours, calling your families and friends, harassing you at your job. All those things are not a legal way of actually reaching out to an individual. And those are means to actually being compensated if you actually fall into those positions. All right. So let's talk about collection accounts and how they hurt your credit. All right. So what is collections? So we understand that collections come from collections of third-party companies.
Right.
So let's say that you had an original debt before, right? So let's say that original debt was with let's say a credit card company. Let's use American Express, right?
Right. Capital One.
Right, Capital One, one of the main ones, right?
Yeah.
So American Express or Capital One, they're what's called the creditor. Okay. Now this creditor decides that, you know what, after about 3 to 4 months of non-payment by the individual who actually conducted that debt with them in the beginning, if you go 1, 2, 3 months without paying, remember we spoke about payment history. Every time you miss a payment, you get hit anywhere between 50 to 100 points. So 3 months goes by, 4 months goes by, 120 days, and you're not making any payments to this company, that they're just going to close that account, because in their books, you're not going to pay this debt off if it's gone past 3 months. And based on their statistics, they're realizing, okay, you're a high risk at this point, and they need to get this out of their books. So what that company does, what American Express, Capital One, or any major company that you actually receive credit with, what they'll do at this point is that they'll write this debt off as a loss for tax purposes.
Right.
Catch that part. They'll write the debt off because they don't need to keep it in their books anymore. Now, when they write this off as a loss and they sell it to a third-party agent, well, when they actually get the sell the debt to a third-party agency, what happens is that they're going to sell that debt for penny under the dollars. So let's say they reach out to a third-party company, right? Let's say this is an ABC collection.
Right.
Okay. Now, with ABC collection, ABC collection is not going to buy the full value of that debt. They're not going to say, okay, this was a $1,000 debt. They're not going to buy a $1,000 debt.
Right.
See, what they're going to do is they're going to say, you know what? I realize that you got a whole portfolio of people's account that haven't paid their bills. So what we'll do is we'll buy those debts off of you for penny under the dollar. So every $1, let's just say they're buying that debt for 5 to 10 cents, sometimes 20 cents, if that much. But on average, about 5, 10 cents, they're buying that debt for it. So let's say they buy a pool of debt now, and your debt just happens to fall in that mix of those debt that actually is being, being bought. So let's say you had $1,000 with them, but they say, you know what? We'll take that $1,000 debt off for you for $80. Right? So if they purchase that $1,000 debt for $80, they're coming after you.
Right.
But guess what? They're not going to tell you, hey, listen, we just bought your debt for $80 and we got it from Capital One or American Express, and we want you to pay that $80. They may add the interest on it, late fees that the original creditor had once had. So they're going to now say, you know what? We want, let's just say they want $1.8 thousand. So I need $1.8 thousand from you. You're like, hold up, I never owed that amount. I owed $1,000. But keep in mind, you never had any agreement with this company. There was no contract signed with ABC Collection Company. See, that agreement was between the creditor and the collection. Any agreements or contract or money transferred to was between these two agencies, not you. But keep in mind, we were never taught about credit. We're never taught about how it worked backstage. So in all sense, you don't know what's going on. You just feel, okay, I got to pay this money plus interest. Now, here's where we should draw the brakes. Go ahead.
Not to cut you off, but for y'all to keep up and know, those are the people that call and harass you. You know what I'm saying? Those third-party companies. And once you get a second, I want you to explain to them if they was to call them on a recorded line. I know you're probably going to get to that, but I just want them to understand the people that are calling you is that ABC Collections that's trying to get money out of you. They've bought your original debt. Just for those who don't understand. You get what I'm saying? Appreciate Hustlebone for the contribution. We're going to get to your question in a minute about how can I flip with trade lines in 1 second. But go ahead, bro.
Absolutely. So, so ABC Collection Company have no contract, no business with you. You have no agreement with them. Here's their deal. Because they purchased the debt from the original creditor, and when they bought the debt, they didn't buy the original contract. In most cases, what they bought is your information that you've given to countless amount of different businesses or websites. Whether you're going to the doctor, you fill out your information. Whether you did your taxes, you fill like they have the same personal information. Right now, they're preying on the lack of knowledge that we have, that when they call us, they're trying to have us incriminate ourselves on that line. The first and foremost, they're going to call you and ask you by first and last name. And because most people, that's their name, they're going to answer in response. When you answer in response, they'll continue that conversation. So if they say, hey, this is ABC Collection Company now on the recorded line, calling on the behalf, and they'll mention the original creditor. See, they mention this because they know psychologically you had one time an agreement with this company. Right. So now this is where it gets crazy, because now they're praying that you're going to incriminate yourself by now spitting out the amount about what's the reason you wasn't able to pay that debt. Mind you, you're on a recorded line. So their goal is that you now incriminate yourself of actually accepting this ownership of this debt. Keep in mind, when you actually verbally say that this is my debt, they have you on that statement. Now their next step is to get you to fill something out on paper, on documents. So now they can have a physical, tangible signature from you stating that this is your debt that you're accepting.
Right.
Never want to do that. The reason why you don't want to do that is because they have to legally provide proof that this debt is yours first before any payment is due.
Right.
So when they give you a call and they're like, hey, is this, John Doe? And you're like, well, yeah, this is John Doe. Don't answer that question.
Right.
When they call, hey, hey, John. Matter of fact, now what they're doing, they're calling you from local numbers. They're using technology to call you from local numbers because they know, okay, most people will pick up the number from an area code they know versus a 1-800 number.
Facts.
So when they call you and you answer the phone, you should be answering the phone like, hello, good evening. Pretty much not giving information about yourself just yet. Right. If they say, yeah, is this John Doe? Your first reaction should be, who's calling this number? Yeah, this is, John with ABC. Listen, John, you guys been calling this number. You have the wrong number.
Facts.
So get them off the phone. They cannot legally continue a conversation, even if they believe that it is you on the other line. They cannot legally continue a conversation with someone who they didn't get, the person that they didn't find. Another thing is you can ask them to send, hey, listen, these alleged debts that you're claiming that is mine, never agree to the debt. Right. This alleged debt that you're claiming that is mine is affecting my credit worthiness, and you guys keep calling me about it. I'd like for you guys to provide proof in the form of a written letter stating that this account is mine with my original contract of this debt with my original signature. And that's the end of that conversation. See, on this recorded line, remember, you're all on a recorded line. Even if they take that to court, there's nothing in that conversation that's letting you say that's hearing you saying that this is yours.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Plenty sense, man. Hey, I also want you to touch on this while we on this topic, right? Someone asked, should you pay collectors? And I want you to elaborate on when you get that phone call, y'all already know not to say it's you. Hang the phone up. That's it. Now that y'all know that, for those who've paid collectors, right? Collection agencies or whatever, or third parties or whatever, please explain to them, and I don't want to get you off topic, but just please explain to them why they shouldn't pay collectors that call.
Absolutely. That's definitely what we're going to jump into right now, because before I continue, I also want to let you know when it comes to collection company, there's a statute of limitation. Each state has their own statute of limitation. And, let's just say your state is 5 years. Some states can be 7 years, some can be less. But let's just say that your years is 5 years in your state. You can always go and research what's the statute of limitation in my state. But what the statute of limitation means when it comes to this is not when the account's going to fall off of your credit. What the statute of limitation means is that this is a time frame that collection company have before they can legally come after you to sue you.
Right.
If your debt was if your statute of limitation is 5 years and they realize the clock since the last payment is 4.5 years, you're going to start receiving some phone calls, because their goal is that when they call you and they get you on a call to admit, at least just to say, yes, this is me, because you slipped up, that 4.5-year-old debt just became a brand new activity on your credit, and it drops your scores.
Wow. I know they didn't know that. I know a lot of people. I didn't know that until you taught me that. But go ahead, keep going.
So what they're preying on is that they just recycle this 4.5-year-old debt to a 1-day-old debt, and it reports on your credit, and now that clock starts over again due to lasting activity, right? So you want to be very mindful, because they are very tricky in the industry when it comes to collection. And again, they're preying on as many people as possible to slip up, or not to just have this knowledge so that they can prey on it. Okay. Right. Now, it's not wise to go ahead and just jump and pay a collection account because you're like, you know what, it was my debt at one point in time, and I want to just get this thing off. I'm trying to move and trying to buy a home, whatever the case may be. You just want these collection accounts gone. The thing is that when you pay these collection companies, they do not remove the debt from your credit.
Right.
Right. Remember last week we spoke about, when it comes to banks, if you don't ask the banks to lower your interest rate, they're not going to just tell you. So the same philosophy comes here is, when you pay that debt off, they're not going to tell you, hey, you can actually request a letter of deletion.
Right.
So there's really two ways of getting that collection off. The first way is actually disputing that. That's what our company does. Right. So we challenge every account that's in collection. The second way is actually paying the debt off in full. And we're going to go into two of those and explain, how they both work and what's the difference and so forth. But I once had a customer where she, got a good amount of change from her taxes. And, she felt like, what? I had all these debts on my credit, was once mine whatsoever. She didn't know the process that it was sold to a collection made small price, but now they're coming to take the big bucks from you.
Right.
And she ended up paying about $6,000 of her taxes to a collection company, literally just calling them down the road and just paying every single one of them.
Wow.
She paid off all her collections, but she could have allocated that money elsewhere if she only knew that when you pay a collection off, it doesn't remove it from your credit report. It will show a comment on your credit profile that this account is paid in full, or if you paid it in settled, it will say account paid as agreed. Right. That's it. You're paying for a comment on your credit report. Right. Now, none of the accounts that she paid off got removed because of that simple fact that she forgot. She didn't know that she needed to ask them before any money is paid that they should provide her with a letter of deletion stating that they're going to personally reach out to the credit bureaus just the same way they were able to buy the debt, they were able to delete it off of her credit. And a lot of customers I've spoken to that have fallen into that trap of trying to get their life back together and paying collections and realizing 2 months later, the stuff is still on my credit.
Wow. And she could have saved a lot of money. Went through the program and,
she could use that and, got getting started with us and, getting the education towards now putting that $6,000 as a down payment towards her home. But, in life, man, there's always opportunities. You live and you learn from that experience and, it wises everyone up. That was just her mental growth, literally from 0 to 100. Now, when it comes to this as well, the same topic about collection company. When it comes to the same topic about collection company, guys, you want to also keep in mind that when it comes to this, into any accounts that's collection, that means, again, the original creditor says, you know what, we're not going to keep this debt in-house anymore. We're going to sell it to a third-party company. We're going to make our money off of the insurance or on the tax end, whichever comes first. They're clean. They don't have to worry about anything. Collection company picks up your debt. They now contacts you to get that money from you. Not even Alexa knew that, right? So they call you to get that money from you. And if you would make arrangements to pay them, sign any form of contract, or verbally, if you admit over the phone, you can get past it. But normally, if you have a wet ink signature with them stating that you're actually going to pay this debt, that's when they got you. If you also make any agreements with them after a debt was 5 years old and your statute of limitation may be 6 years, then that debt restarts. So you're no longer 6-year-old in that debt. You're, that debt's brand new. And it pops up on your credit that, ABC collection company flagged your credit. All right. Your score can drop 60+ points. It hurts you as bad as a late payment would. Okay. So it's very important to get those off, especially if it's not shown on your credit report as yours. All right. So collection count is pretty much a no good account. Now, how can you get this done? Again, 2 ways of doing this. You can do a pay per deletion, meaning that you decide that, you know what, I'm gonna just go ahead and pay it off. I don't have a whole bunch of collection accounts on there, and I'm gonna just call them up to pay them. Anytime you pay a collection account, don't pay it partially, meaning that, I'm gonna pay you $50 every month.
Right.
Because you can start that trend and then something happens 6 months down the road, you can't pay anymore. You go 3 years without paying, and then they catch you again on the blind side, and now that debt becomes, brand new again. Okay. So you want to go ahead, if you're going to make a paper deletion, pay them in full. Know that, okay, this is the amount. If it's $1,000 debt, you're going to have that $1,000 ready. So when you get on the phone with them and you're going to pay this debt, pay it in full. Let them know, hey, listen, again, don't agree to it. Hey, this is an alleged debt that's hurting my credit worthiness. I'm looking to make some moves in my lives, and I can't do it with this debt on my report. So I'm willing to pay this debt off. Now, I'm willing to pay it if you guys are able to provide me with a letter of deletion. See, when they provide you that letter of deletion, have them send that to you in mail. When they provide you with that letter of deletion in the mail or email, whichever way they prefer, then you pay them. Don't pay them before. Okay. Another thing is, when you decide to pay them, don't pay them with your personal checking account, because a debt can be lingering you can have, they bought a portfolio of debts. So they could have bought 3 of your debts, right? And they're asking you to pay this one off because that's the one that you're familiar with. And then you give them your actual credit card or your banking information, and then you pay this debt off. But 4 months later, another one pops up. But because they have your personal information, they're just going to pull from your account.
That happens too.
Nothing you can do about it at that point.
I hope y'all listening.
You know what I mean?
I hope y'all listening. I hope y'all listening.
So we recommend, if you are going to take that route, to pay them with a cashier's check, with a money order, or a prepaid debit card that you really don't use. Okay.
Right.
And that's, again, if you're choosing to pay them. Okay. Now, the other option is what our company does. So what Real Credit Deal do is that we challenge those derogatory accounts on your credit report. Any collection accounts, any charge-off accounts, anything that's shown in a status where it's been written off or sold in that manner, we'll challenge these accounts with the collection company and the credit bureaus. Here's the thing, is that when we challenge these accounts, we're having them provide the original proof of document with your signed signature. Remember, they're only buying a bulk for penny under the dollar.
Right.
So when they buy this information, it's usually for every $1 that's being sold, right? For a debt, they're buying it for like 5 cents, 10 cents. So that's how much that information is worth to them. If they buy anything more than that, let's say they're 50 cents or $1 for every account with a contract on it with your signed signature, that's too much money for them to invest.
Right.
So they always go with the better route for them, the more inexpensive, because they buy it in bulk and they make more money off of that. So when they're purchasing all of your personal information, they're getting your personal account information, the account number of the original company. So don't get fooled when they send you information about, oh, this debt is yours and we have the account number. No, you need to provide me with tangible proof that with my original contract, with my signed signature, that this is mine. If they cannot provide you with that proof, then that debt is not yours. It's an alleged debt. And they can't take anyone to court with that type of information, because if they don't have any grounds, the lawyers, the judge is just going to, throw that out.
Right. I hope y'all paying attention, man. That's that game. That's what they're not going to teach you. You get what I'm saying? They ain't gonna teach us that, man. And we definitely gonna do a small recap on everything for those who just jumped on. Make sure y'all share the live, man. We just trying to educate y'all on it. But let them know to join today, how much it is, how, the fees, and like I say, to get thousands and thousands of dollars knocked off their credit. How can they get it? How can they join?
We had a young lady pop a few months back, and she owns a trucking company, her and her husband. And we were able to get a $50,000 charge-off account off their repo off of their credit with a prior truck that they had. $50,000 knocked off within a couple months of working with us. I mean, for the value that they're getting, for all of our customers getting, our original price is $214.98 to start, $114.98 a month to maintain the services as long as you need it. This week, actually going into the end of the month, we're actually working up a special for just $199, guys, to get started. So that is going to be running for the entire week. Everyone who gets in contact with us, text ready to the number 754-755-9774. We will be providing that special to you, so that way you can actually get involved with our company, speak to our live agents on the phone, get a follow-up call, so that we can go through a detailed analysis of your credit report, because it doesn't matter about getting a credit score. Like, everyone looking for this, everyone is shooting for that 850. Everybody's looking to be in the 700. Everyone's looking to be over 680. Like, that's all good and stuff. Like, having that good credit score is important. But if you don't have this knowledge behind it, this, you can get this in 1 month and lose it in 1 month. Easily. So it's important to get an understanding of how your credit works, and that's where the analysis does come in, to make sure that we make sure every customer, because your credit report is different. I can talk to 10 people, I can guarantee the next 10, their credit profile is completely different than the first. So we want to make sure that we get everyone a tailored understanding of what's going on with their personal credit, so that way you know how to control your credit, how to maintain your credit once it gets to a good position. You now understand that you don't get scared of collection companies when they call you. You don't get you don't jump into incriminating yourself and talking about all the reasons of why you didn't pay your debt, because you now know that, one, they have you on a call. Two, more likely they don't have the original contract for that debt. So technically there's nothing between you and that company. That's like going to the store, and buying something, whatever agreement was made between you and that store, that's now your product. This was sold to them. That's now their product. It's theirs. They're trying to now sell that debt off back to you and have you pay for it. And now that account still sits on your credit. That makes no sense. And actually, that just looks like scam, So with that being said, again, give us a call, send us a text message. We're open from Mondays to Fridays from 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern time. We'll put you on our appointments. Just make sure that when you do schedule an appointment with us, just take the incentive to remember the date and the time, because when we do give you a call to confirm your appointment, we want to make sure that we're talking to serious candidates, serious people who are really looking to make a change in their lifestyles. Right.
And like I say, we're gonna do a small recap on what we talked about for some people that just got on the live. Basically, we talked about collections. You know what I'm saying? How to the reasons why not to pay collections and also don't give them the information that this is you when they call, because you're on the recorded line, and why not to do that. You get what I'm saying? And the thing about it is, this is the information that they will not teach you, man. And if you missed the live, you can always go back and listen to everything we talked about. We're definitely gonna take just a few questions, the Q&A. We're gonna do a few questions. The first question I definitely want to go to is Hustle Bone. How can I flip with trade lines?
When you say flip, what do you mean? Purchasing homes, things of that nature, cars. Okay. Trade lines, again, we touched a little bit on it last week. So you have two types of trade lines. You have primary trade lines and you have AUs, authorized users. Authorized users is when you actually, let's say that I had to have a credit card for $40,000. And with that credit card, I say, you know what, I'm going to add you on this as a authorized user. Now, I have the ability to give you a credit card or not. Most people don't give credit cards, but now you become an authorized user of my credit. Let's say my credit, with that credit card I've had with that bank for 6 years. And what happens in 30 days is that you're going to inherit 6 years of positive history that I've had. You're also going to inherit the limit of that trade line. So if that limit's being 40,000, you're going to see $40,000 of credit limit showing up on your credit usage as well. So that's how trade line works. Now, let's say if you purchase a trade line and your credit usage is 0, right? You have no credit cards whatsoever. Whatever limit that trade line hits at, whether it being 40,000 or less or greater, then it will tremendously increase your credit. Right. Because you literally would go from 0 to 40,000 or whatever that number is. Now, that credit limit's going to show up on your credit report along with the history. So now you're going to have good history and a good credit limit. Now that's good. You can use that and, you know, get credit cards and get lower interest rate and things of that nature. But you always want to have primary, because back in the days, you probably would have gotten away with getting a whole bunch of stuff with AUs. And still, it's a very impactful way of building credit. But now primary credit is also as more important than AUs. Use AUs just as a way to give a pretty look to your credit, right? So that way you can get lower interest rate, and you can use that towards higher purchasing power. But when the primary credit comes in, when the underwriter starts looking at your credit profile, if you have no primary credit, in their eyes, like, okay, I see you with this AU, but what do you have for yourself?
Right.
Right. So if you have already credit cards and so forth, having an authorized user is just going to be the icing on the cake for you. Because if your credit limit is 20,000, you add a $40,000 limit, you now have $60,000 of credit usage to now play with. So this allows your buying power to be a lot stronger.
Yeah. And you definitely want to have a plan of action too once you go in and acquire that credit. You know, have your plan together. What business you want to do. You know, if you want to get in the truck and you want to do this, expand, you want to get whatever it is you want to do, you want to have all that ready to go once you acquire that. And this is how you get that done. We're gonna take Maurice. Maurice Powell say, so how do you get them to take it off if they don't have proof of your signature? I guess that's what he's saying, what he's asking.
Hey, Maurice, great question. So how do you get them to take it off? Meaning the collection company, if they don't have proof. So what our company do is that we challenge those accounts with the credit bureaus first. And when we challenge these accounts with these credit bureaus, we're having them provide verification of these debts, right? So if they're unable to provide, ways of verification, how they verify this debt in the first step or first round, then let's say they don't. They say, you know what, this account is actually verified. In a lot of cases, they will say that, but we don't take that, answer lightly, so to speak, because we understand how the game works. So if they respond to us after sending out, different legal letters and stating that these accounts, are not verified or need to be verified, and they come back and say, hey, listen, this is verified. What we'll do is that we'll send out a second round of letters. Now we need to know who you spoke to. Right. So we're not just going to, lay down and accept that answer. We now need to know, who did you speak with to say that this account was verified? We need to understand what was the name of the individual that you spoke to, what is the number of that company that you spoke to, what is the name of that company. So we're going to go into in-depth details in this next round to provide truth to what they say that this state on this account being verified. Okay, so we're gonna use legal terms and the FCRA, which is the Fair Credit, to get these accounts deleted and knocked off of our clients' reports. Keep in mind that as well, when it comes to collection, guys, there's nothing that's on your credit that's not out there to consumers. Right. We all have the same ability. No difference than you paying your hairstylist to do your hair versus learning how to do it yourself. Right. So I hope that answered your question, Maurice, with more.
Right. And another thing too, one of the things I want to get people to understand, and I'm gonna say this briefly, it's come from, like I said, I come from the music background, so y'all know. Once you're trying to get to another level, I will say this. It's a lot of DIYs out there, but what I've learned, and I'm telling you, man, I've learned this the hard way. And this is some of the stuff that Robert Kiyosaki talks about, and also Warren Buffett, when you're trying to put together a team, you need to get people that does specifically that. This is how you build and get to another level. It's cool if someone can do this and do that and do this and do that, but if you want to get someone that's all they do is focus on that aspect of your system, hire somebody that does that and that only. Trust me, it's going to save you a lot of time, a lot of money. People have been in this business 10 and 15, 20 years. Trust me, man. Pay them. Let them do what it is you want to get done and keep it moving. I promise you, you'll make your life way much better. Trust me when I tell you that. So, Teresa, she says, I'm late, but what about bankruptcies?
Great question. So bankruptcies is a bankruptcy discharge. It's a bankruptcy still, going on. We challenged bankruptcies that are discharged from our clients' reports, and we have been able to successfully remove those bankruptcies off of our clients' reports without waiting that 7 or 10 years for it to fall off. And in even some cases, it doesn't fall off during when it reaches those max years. You'll still have to call in and go through the whole, regimen with the bureaus to get it removed. But we have been able to get challenged and remove discharge bankruptcies. Student loans too. Don't think because of the name, we get scared when we hear student loans. If student loan has been sold to a third party company, it matters not. Creditor sells it to a collection company. In the case of student loans, that collection company is mostly Navient or Navient, however you pronounce it. But student loans can be challenged and removed from our clients' reports.
Right. Definitely. Like I say, man, we're gonna get one more. We're gonna get how to maintain your credit score. We're gonna get one more. I'm trying to see increase okay. We'll take this one here. Will a credit card have a big increase to my credit score?
What's going on, Radix? So credit cards have the most impactful ways of building our credit. There's nothing more powerful than building our credit than credit cards, which is why Tradeline is so dominant in this field. So another term for credit cards is actually trade lines. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
The thing is that most people stay away from credit cards because they don't know how to use it or they don't understand how it works. But not realizing that, listen, if you don't have credit cards, you're missing out on credit history.
Right.
Outside of a car payment or maybe a furniture, store, credit cards is what's going to give you long-lasting history.
Right.
And that's actually revolving credit. Then you missing out on payment history.
Right.
Remember, credit history is 15%. Payment history is 35%. You miss out on a whole lot right there. And then your credit usage is 30%. So if you don't have credit cards, 85% of your credit is not being built. So you're doing yourself a disservice by not having it. Now, how do you use it, or how do you start with a credit card? I would prefer starting with a secure credit card or a line of credit that won't go against you, meaning that you apply for it and you actually get approved for it. We do provide, partnership with companies who actually guarantees everyone gets approved. Once you speak with our credit analysis team, they'll be able to educate you and break that down about how we're able to help you to start, with building credit. If you already have credit cards, get those things paid down. Get them under 30%, preferably 0 to 10%. But yeah, credit cards is a huge way of building your credit, right?
Definitely. And like I say, man, every week, every Sunday, we're gonna be dropping them nuggets on y'all. Free game. Definitely want to put y'all in a better position, man, to get that house for your family, man. You know what I'm saying? As a man, I know a lot of, I don't want to go into the man and women thing, but a lot of men that get married, they want to lead their family in the right direction. So if you in that situation, man, take advantage of this. Stop trying to use your own money all the time, man. Do like the banks do, man. Use their money, and we're gonna definitely show you and teach you how to do that. Like I say, you can start today, $214 just to start, $114 a month, as long as you need the service. Hop out anytime you get ready. But like I say, for what you're paying to knock thousands and thousands of dollars of debt off your credit score, you can't beat it. And also you get some good information, because I know a lot of people, they'll hit me up later, hit me a DM, and they'll call me. They know me. They be like, damn, boy, I didn't know all this about their credit. I say, I'm trying to tell you, man, we ain't just wasting our time on here, man. We really want to see people be in a better position and put your family in a better position, man. It's easy to go out there and get that business. You know what I'm saying? Don't be scared, man. This is how you can acquire that business. Start with 1 truck, 2 truck, 3 trucks. Now you got 15 trucks. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't be scared, man. And we're going to give you the information. So definitely every Thursday we dropping a testimony too. So that's someone that joined the program that's going to be speaking live. You know what I'm saying? And they're giving y'all the experience that they've had once they joined the program. You want to say something? Oh,
absolutely. So again, until the 31st, we're having a special for just $199, guys, to start. You can take advantage of that. You know, get started on working on your credit and improve your lifestyle. You know, I'm not going to go too much into any political debates or things like that, but there's a lot of, you know, 2 sides of the coins right now that's being flipped. And whichever one you choose for, that's your preference. But at the same time, you have to do your self-service.
Right.
You got to put whatever goals or dreams that you have, or maybe you have some goal or dream, but maybe it's for your grandkids, or maybe for your children, or maybe for your spouse, whatever it is, you know, set that stuff up now. You can't get it without credit. It's one of the things I'm not hearing anybody talk about, you know, and things are shifting and changing. Whomever wins, we're going to rely on this a whole lot more. Worldwide, different stores are now opening up, or actually closing, you know, the cash system, where we're not going to be able to use cash in certain methods. Credit is literally a new currency. Well, it's been a currency, but it's actually going to become more dominant in the space as we grow. So you want to definitely put yourself in a position to win, to start opening up franchises. UPS is going to be booming. You know, Amazon is going to be booming. Like, this is the point that you can use credit to buy these type of businesses. So as they're growing, you're catching a piece of that cake too. You're winning. And our goal for the community, no matter which state, which city you're in, is that everyone come together and really understand how this thing works. Because the more you know, you pass that on. You can't pass the job on to your kids. You can't pass the job on to your family.
Right.
You can pass that knowledge, and they're going to take it and they're going to run with it. Especially if you know your kids and you know your immediate surroundings. When they grab information, you want to put stuff in front of them that you yourself have been a part of. You yourself have taken the time out to learn about.
Right.
I'm telling you, currency, outside of crypto and all those other stuff that I love to talk about, credit is the new currency, and it's going to make a huge change. Just watch. All right. So not going to hold too much more of your time, my brother. Appreciate you having me on the show again.
Definitely.
Text 754-755-9774, guys, and get a consultation. Let us help you. Let us put you in a position where you can ultimately get the results that you desire.
Definitely. And like I say, man, appreciate everybody that's on the live. Each and every Sunday, we here dropping them nuggets. Like I say, go ahead, stop procrastinating, man. Go ahead, get yourself together, man. And like I say, man, it's just the knowledge. Like I say, ignorance is the most expensive thing in the world, because you're going to pay for it physically, emotionally, and you damn sure going to pay for it financially. And we trying to help people get aligned with what credit is, so you can, you know, do away with the anxiety and the fear of what credit is. So with that being said, man, hope y'all learned something. Appreciate you, my brother, for coming on and educating my people, man.
Absolutely, man. Always. Appreciate
you already know. Yeah, I got them. So like I say, man, y'all tune in. Y'all know I'm be dropping videos throughout the week. So it's all love. You get what I'm saying? And yeah, real credit deal, man. It's a real deal. So text ready, 754-755-9774. Share this live. And we're gonna be out. We'll see y'all on the next video. You feel me?